Hello everyone, welcome to the section 3 for the sensory principle for vision. So in our previous session, we have laid the groundwork for sensory marketing. Today we will take a deep dive into what is arguably our most dominant and reliable sense, vision. We will explore how we see, how visual cues influence our thought and emotion, and more importantly, how brand strategy use vision to shape our experience and decision. So let's start with the basic. Vision is the biological process of capturing light and interpreting it as images. But our brain does something remarkable. It doesn't just see pixels, it actively organizes them. This is explained by the Gestalt theory, where our brain automatically groups different elements to see a complete, unified picture. Look at the Rubin vase illusion. Some you see other two faces. Your brain is actively choosing how to interpret the visual information. So this process of recognizing and interpreting visual cues is what we call visual perception. A brilliant marketing example is a FedEx logo, which is cleverly used gesture principle to hide an arrow in the negative space. As you can see here. So subconsciously communicating speed and direction of FedEx. So when we see something, our brain has two types of reaction. The first is the cognitive response. This is the rational and analytical part of the perception. The thoughts, belief, and judgment we form based on what we see. Crucially, visuals can directly influence our belief about a product functional attribute, like its quality or durability. For instance, when Volvo shows images of its car undergoing rigorous safety tests or highlight its steel frame, the cognitive response they are building in our mind is clear. This car is safe and well engineered. But our reaction to visual isn't just rational, it's also deeply emotional, which brings us to our next concept, the affective response. This is the immediate gut feeling we get from a visual. There are three key mechanisms here. First, emotional transfer. When Coca-Cola consistently shows images of happy people sharing moments together, those feelings of happiness and connection transfer from the ad to the brand itself. Second, visual consistency. Our memory is stronger when the visuals match the words. Seeing a vibrant, fresh strawberry next to the word 100% fresh reinforces the message much more powerfully than text alone. And third, the consumer mood. A person in a positive mood is much more receptive to advertising. This is why brands often advertise during upbeat TV shows or sporting events like the World Cup. And it is vital to remember that visual perception is not universal. Every visual strategy must be culturally aware because a positive symbol in one culture can be negative in others. A classic example is the color red. In Western countries, red is often associated with love, but also with danger or financial loss. And in contrast, in many Asian cultures like China and Vietnam, red is a color of luck, happiness, and celebration, especially during the Lunar New Year. And now let's move from theory to practice. How do businesses apply this principle? And we'll start with the design of physical service environment or the servicescape. First, architecture. The physical structure of the space. High ceiling, for example, can create a feeling of freedom and openness, which you might find in a creative tech company office. Lower ceiling create a sense of intimacy and coziness, perfect for a romantic restaurant or cafe. Next is interior design, which involve arranging furniture and fixtures to guide how customers move and communicate the brand's identity. A rustic cafe with wooden furniture feels very different from a modern minimalist one with metal and glass. So color is a powerful tool for setting the mood. Cool color like blue, greens are calming and can encourage customers to browse longer, which is why you see them in places like banks or retail stores. Warm color like reds and yellows are energizing and can increase appetite. This is why fast food chains like McDonald's and KFC use them so effectively. Lightning is just as important. It guides our attention and sets the atmosphere. Bright lighting can create energy, perfect for a fast-paced environment. Focused lighting, like you have found in a high-end jewelry store like SGC or P&G, create a sense of luxury, intimacy, and focus on the products. Finally, never underestimate social stimuli. This refers to the people within the environment, both staff and other customers who act as powerful visual cues. So a classic example is the Apple Store. The staff, energetic, diverse, and wearing simple blue t-shirts are a key part of brand visual identity, and they look approachable and knowledgeable. Their presence reinforce their presence reinforce the brand image of being modern, friendly, and helpful. Beyond the physical store, vision is critical in building the brand and the product itself. Advertisement and commercial are the most obvious tools, like nice fail forward campaigns or connoted ad. So it creates a much deeper emotional connection than text alone. Product design is about both the aesthetic and the functional form. A superior design like that of the Rolex watch or a high-end gaming keyboard create a strong perception of higher quality. This visual excellence justifies a premium price and becomes a key differentiator in the market. Logos are graphic symbols that act as a mental shortcut for the brand. An aesthetically pleasing and clever logo like that of Starbucks or KFC can create positive feelings and instant recognition. And the brand name also functions as visual stimulus when it's written. A name like Versace is not just a word, it's a visual presentation on a product that is a powerful symbol of luxury and Italian design. Packaging is often called the silent salesman. It's a final visual presentation at the point of sale. A brand can become so iconic that its packaging is instantly recognizable. A perfect example is that Tiffany Blue Box. Just seeing that specific shade of blue immediately communicates luxury, quality, and excitement of receiving a special gift. Similarly, a local brand like Renovan skateboard shoe brands buy to skateboarding, they have a unique box like a map dim shoe box to create distinct and memorable unboxing. For me, very unique. And to bring this all together, let's look at a brand that builds an empire on visual marketing. It's Victoria's Secret. They masterfully create a cohesive visual strategy to turn basic products into glamorous lifestyle. Their brand name was chosen to evoke the romance and the mystery of the Victorian era. Their servicescapes were designed not as a store but as a dark, intimate boudoir, a fantasy world that shopper and most famously, their advertising created the Victoria's Secret angels, who became living, breathing visual symbols of the brand aspirational beauty. Now we transition from the word we see to the word we hear. We come to the second part of our presentation, sensory principle for sound in the session 4. Just as we did with the vision, let's start with the basics. Our ears are the sensory gateway for sounds, and the everyday sound we hear constantly shape our perception of the environment around us. From a marketing perspective, we can categorize sound into three main types: ambient sounds, which are background noise from nature or machine; voices, which are human-generated sounds like speech or song; and music, which is organized sounds designed to create harmony and emotion. This is where sounds become powerful marketing tool. Sounds directly taps into our emotion and memories. We can control these through three psychological levels. Tempo, which influence our pace and energy level. Next is pitch, which affects our mood. A major key generally sounds happy, and while a minor key sounds sad. And the volume, which control our level of arousal and sense of intimacy. A gym, for instance, will use high tempo, high volume electronic music to energize you. In contrast, a spa will use low tempo, low volume ambient music to help you relax. And similar to vision, sound perception is subjective and shaped by our cultural background. Sound symbolism refers to the inherent meaning we attach to sound. For example, the sound in the church bell in Europe are often signifying a wedding or a Sunday service. The sound of a large temple bell in Asia, however, is associated with different spiritual rituals. In a service environment, in-store music is a key tool to manage the customer flow. Fast tempo music, which you might hear in a convenience store like 7-Eleven, encourage quicker decision and faster turnover. And slow tempo music, like the kind that played in Muji, leads to more relaxed browse, often resulting in customers staying longer and spending more. And music can also signal the service level. For instance, classical music can make a service feel more upscale, but the most important rule is music congruence. The music must fit the brand's identity. Like for the coffee house, for example, often play gentle local acoustic pop, which is highly congruent with its relaxed, youthful atmosphere. Finally, music can be used as a form for intimidation or segmentation. A skate shop playing loud punk rock attracts its target demographic while deterring others who don't fit the vibe. And in advertising, music creates powerful emotional connection, and as brands recall, music embodiment is when the characteristics of the music are transferred to the product. Now, for a local example, I'm sure we all remember, who could forget the mấy sàn song like Bạn muốn mua TV. It's repetitive, high energy, and somewhat quirky nature made the ad incredibly memorable and built massive brand awareness. For better or for worse, I think it's better. So I still remember the sound. And a sonic logo is short, unique sound that provides instant audio recognition for brand, like the famous jingle of Intel or Netflix. Tarang. If you watch Netflix, you will know the sound. And a great local example is Momo signature ting ting sound, or whenever a transaction is made, you might hear the sound Momo. So during transaction, it's a satisfying confirmation that had become synonymous with the brand Momo itself. And sound symbolism also applies to the name, the sound of the word, or the word food, for example, is short and solid, which can subconsciously reinforce the brand image of being tough and reliable. And finally, brand engineers product sound to communicate quality and satisfaction. Think of the satisfied slurp sound from the famous soy milk ad, like this. Yes, which emphasize the deliciousness of the product, or the crisp, restoring changing sharp an iPhone. So if you use an iPhone while charging, you will hear that sound. And to conclude our discussion on sound, let's look at the master of sonic branding, Coca-Cola. First, they have used emotional branding through music for decades, associating with their brand with global themes of happiness and unity in all their campaigns. Second, they have made their iconic engineered product sound famous worldwide of the opening, where whenever you open the can of Coca-Cola, you can hear the sound, and the fizz of the carbonation, like the sound of bubble inside the can, and the clink of ice when you have ice in your cup and you hear the sound. So these sounds are auditory triggers for refreshment. Finally, the power of their brands over sensation is proven. In blind tests, Coke and Pepsi are often split 50-50, but when the brand is reviewed, 75% of people prefer Coke. This shows that the emotional and sonic branding of Coca-Cola is so powerful, it literally changes our perception of the taste. And this is the end of my presentation for section 3 and 4. Thank you for watching.